Okay, and welcome back to Just Get to the Game. So we moved to fall of 1861. Just a quick recap. We've got the Union spent some time building up the blockade, building up some armies, getting some other armies ready to kind of go into action, and they secured for the rest of the game the state of Missouri. That's definitely one of their big objectives, so a nice win for them there. Which kind of makes this army I'm trying to grow out here in Missouri with Smith and Price really not as what I wanted to do with them. I was hoping to go on the offensive with them before the Union can move. South still has its ports open, but the blockade level is up. This turn, we're going to go to the reinforcement phase at the start. On turn, and it says it right on the turn record track, you don't do reinforcements this turn. 90-day enlistments are up. And there's a struggle on both sides to get reinforcements this turn. And I do think that favors the South a little bit. Anytime the Union isn't getting more manpower, it's a little bit of a win to the South. So what you'll do is you'll skip the reinforcements. You can go right to strategic moves. It starts with the Union. So the Union looks around and says, where do I have some folks I'd like to move around? And they don't have a lot. I mean, if you look at it across the board, I've got one unit kind of holding Rolls, Missouri. I've got Buell and Fremont sitting in Ironton with 2 units. I don't want to pull him in because I know, remember, I'm going to attrit down 1, so that's not something I want to do. I do have 3 units in Jonesboro. Not Jonesboro, I'm sorry, Cairo. And do I want to start to build an army there? And if I did, that would be a good time to move 2 units around. I don't know what cards I have yet, so that's a little bit chancy. So again, the Union doesn't really have a lot of units that aren't in armies. And for that reason, let's see. With the Confederates down here, I can pull this unit back, but I'm just gonna leave him where he's at. So that's gonna be it. The Confederacy gets to move now, and they have some options. They got some rail they can move on. So they are going to take advantage of the railroad. They can move basically 7 spaces on the railroad. I've got this unit here in Mobile. I'm going to start to get up here to Sidney Johnson. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, staying on rail. 4, 5, 6, 7. So I moved 1 unit there. I'm going to keep my guy. I can't move him here. He's not on rail. I'm not going to move from Sabine City, not on rail, not on rail. I have a unit here in Columbus, but I want him to protect the fort, so I'm not going to pull him out. I'm not going to move Polk around. I'm going to keep him there with his unit. I got a unit in Savannah. I am going to go ahead and move that unit as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to bring 2 units basically into Kingston, Georgia. And that's going to be about it for their army. So there's no other reinforcements that come in this turn. The next thing we'll do is we'll bring in our generals. And like we said, as it says on here, the only ones that are coming in are Pemberton and Van Dorn. So where might I want to put them? I definitely want to get Albert Sidney Johnson some support. In case he wants to come to Columbus, it would be nice to get a little bit of a defensive support. So I'm going to put Pemberton right in Columbus. So I have the +2 for the fort and the +1 for the defense there. That leaves me with Van Dorn. And I'm going to put Van Dorn. I always kind of liked him out here. I'm going to do something different this game. I'm going to put Van Dorn with these 2 units in Kingston. This way, if I get with a 1 card, I can actually activate him and get him up here with potentially Albert Sidney Johnson, maybe collect an army up there. So once my generals are out, I'm going to deal my strategy cards. We're going to do this Union first. So Union's going to get 1. I'm sorry, it's always the Confederacy first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get 6 cards this turn. And I say Confederacy first. That's not a game rule. That's just something I do. So if I look at the Confederacy hand without looking at it, it's mixed. I got 3 cards. Boy, this one hand really makes it hard for me to get this together for me to show you. But I basically have 3 cards and 3 1 cards, and 5 of them are Confederate events. Pretty cool. And then we'll go to the Union. Union's going to pull their cards out. They got a 2 card, another 2 card, 3, 4, 5, and one more, 6. So the Union's got a 3 card. They've got 3 2 cards, 2 2 cards, and 2 of their cards are exclusive to the Confederacy. The rest the Union can play, and the Union has a campaign card, which is important. So I'm going to lay these out now and start to kind of play them across the board. I don't have a campaign card for the South because the Union will get to go first. And right off the bat, I will go ahead and play a campaign card. Let's get it moving right away. So it's a 3 card. I can conduct 2 special moves. So you get to activate 2 with 1. It's a 3. Conduct up to 2 moves or conduct 1 special army-sized naval move, which is where you can move more troops than you normally could in a naval move, but you need the right generals in play, and I don't have that right now. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Army of the Potomac. We're going to move down to Virginia for 1, and I'm going to convert it in Manassas. I'm going to come down to Fredericksburg for 1 and convert it. That's 2. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go to the Wilderness first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. And I am just going to sit up in Fredericksburg. Now, I could have moved down 1 more into Hanover, but remember, that's a great spot where the Army of Northern Virginia can intercept me before I get there and get a +2 bonus on me. And I don't want to really show that off yet. The second thing I do is I'm going to get ahead and get my Army of the Tennessee moving. Let's see if we can get Kentucky. So I've got to get 7 of the 9 places in Kentucky. So my first move will be into Falmouth, and I'm going to convert it for 1. Now, why you can do this is when armies move, they're the only unit in the game that can spend a point to also convert a political control influence over the place they're moving into. So it costs you 2 points versus 1 to move there and do that, but I'm getting some places I need. So that's 1, 2. I'm then going to move into Frankfurt, 3, 4, and then into Lexington, 5, 6. So those 2 moves, I took over parts of Virginia, and I also just extended my supply line. And then I also took over parts of Kentucky. I now own 3 of the spots needed to lay claim to Kentucky. And I'm very, very okay with that. So that will be the end of the Union's action. We'll go to the South. I'm going to play, again, some of this I'm doing just to play to show you how the game works. But I probably shouldn't. I should probably spend a little more time. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to play the CSS Tennessee. It allows me, for 1, to place the Tennessee Ironclad, which I will go ahead and get now. And it allows me to put that boat basically in one of my ports, or a coastal fort space, which is going to defend me from naval attacks. So I'm going to pull the Tennessee out. And where might I want to put that? Controlled port. So I'm going to put it right into Sabine City with my unit. And again, I like that because I think Sabine City can go so fast for Texas. And I really want to protect it because if the Union gets in here quick, they can quickly move up here, take over Texas. I will quickly lose 7 strategic will. I'll also be 1 port away from losing a port of entry in that portion of the game. So that being said, we go to back to the Union. I'm looking at my cards here. Okay, I've got Gustavus Fox, Assistant Secretary of the Navy. He's going to build and increase my amphibious assault modifier. Now, we've not explained what that does yet, and because I like to just get to the game, I'm not going to explain it now because it's just going to be a bunch of rules. When it hits, I'll show you what it does. But I am going to increase my amphibious assault modifier from 0 to 2. And it basically just makes me more powerful when I attack with my Navy. We go back to the Confederacy. Confederacy looks at its cards. And I'm going to have Davis. He's going to tour the South. He's going to walk around the South. He's going to increase some morale. So it's a 1-point card. It's event. He's going around to tell his armies, I gotcha. It's going to increase the Confederate Southern will by 3. I'm negative. It's a positive event. So when it switches negative to positive, I'm going to get a +2. So it's going to be a +5. So I'm going to go from 3 to 8 and move it to positive. So I just cut the score, basically 108 to 98, 10-point difference right now. We'll go back to the Union. Union's looking at its cards. Again, what the South wouldn't know is the Union is stuck with some cards. They can't move their army again if they wanted to. But I'm gonna show you something here just to I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to play General Jefferson Davis issues Letters of Marquis. I'm not going to play it for the event, okay? Oh, wait, I'm going to play this for the points. The Army of the Tennessee actually has a 2-point activation, so I can absolutely pay that for the Army of the Tennessee. So for 2 points, I'm going to put the Army of the Tennessee on the move again. And this time they're going to go from Lexington. They're going to go 1, 2, into Louisville, Kentucky, convert it, 1, 2, 3. They're going to come down to Lebanon, 4, 5. And then they're going to drop right into Bowling Green and hold still. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the end of the turn, if this isn't moved, I will have 6 of the spots in Kentucky. We'll go back to the Confederacy. Confederacy wants to get their army on the table. So they're going to play a 3-point card. And what they're going to do with that is they're going to take Albert Sidney Johnston in Nashville. I think I did this right. I did. He's got just enough. He's got 5 units, SPs with him. I'm going to create the Army of the Tennessee for the South. I'm going to put the SP marker on the 5. I'm going to put their Army marker back where it was in Nashville. And I'm going to put Albert Sidney Johnston in charge of that army. And Bragg is going to be his second in command. No penalties because he's the highest general I have on the board. Now the South has an army to potentially combat with the Army in Bowling Green. We go back to the Union. Union's going to play War in the West for 2 points. They can't play the event. They're going to play it for control markers. So we're going to put 2 more control markers down. We're going to take over Somerset, Kentucky. I'm going to put my second control marker in Paducah. If Confederates want to come out with one of their units to take that, I'm more than okay with it because it's going to really give up one of their forts. Polk can move up here, but I'm not too worried about that. We go back to the South. South is going to play Brazil recognizes the Confederacy. They're going to continue to build their strategic will back up. That's going to basically give them 3 strategic will points. That card will come out of the game. So I'll remove that. It's gone. And I will move up 3 more points for the Confederacy. So they will go from 98 plus 1 is 99, 100, 101. 101. So the score is now 101 for the Confederates to 108 for the Union. We'll go back to the Union. I'm going to play Big Bethel for 1 point. I'm actually not going to, I am not, what would I like to do with this card? Let's go ahead and start to take West Virginia over. I'm going to go ahead and put a control marker in West Virginia. I only need 4 to take West Virginia over. I'm going to put my first one up here in Wheeling, West Virginia. We'll go to the Confederacy. Confederacy will play... I can play habeas corpus, which is basically Lincoln suspending that to reduce the Confederacy's strategic will, or I can play it to move the Army of the Tennessee. And I know right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have just enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've got 7. They're going to. Man, it's not a lot I can do with the Army of the Tennessee with that. To 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, so man, there's not. What I wanted to do was potentially get the Army of the Tennessee to swing around and come up here, but the Union did a nice job of controlling multiple locations, and plus he might just let it go and just move right into Nashville and kill my resource center and 5 strategic points. The other thing I can do with 3 points is get Kirby Smith on the move, and maybe do an attack against Rolls, where the Union's got 1 unit. It doesn't give me any strategic points, but at least it puts a threat out here. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to go and activate, I'm going to declare Smith as the active commander here so that he can bring the lower commander with him. We're going to move up into Kansas City to pick up our unit for 2. And I'm going to come back down to Springfield, and then I'm going to attack right here. I've got 3 against 1. Buell's going to try to intercept. For him to intercept, he needs to roll a 1, and he doesn't. So we go to the attack roll. It's 3 to 1 of the odds. So I actually get a multiplier for that for the South. So the 3 to 1 odds are going to give me a +2. Plus Smith is going to give me a +1. Because it's not an army, you don't add up all the pluses of all the generals. If it was an army, you would. With certain limitations, I'll go through that. So we're going to roll it up. I rolled a 4 for the rebels. So it's a small battle. The rebels are the defenders. They rolled a 4. They're going to inflict 1 casualty. So I'm going to go ahead and lose a unit. And next is I rolled a 5. Plus the modifier of 6, 7. Plus 1 is 8. So an 8. Again, 5 plus 1 for my general, 6 plus 2 for the odds is an 8. The attacker roll, that's only going to cost him 1 unit. But again, because I won that battle and I started with greater than 2 to 1 odds, I can continue to move if I'd like to. And I think I'd like to. I don't want to sit here in rolls for a quick counterattack, not knowing what card we've got there. So I'm going to drop back. I went 1, 2, 3. I'm going to drag back 4 to Springfield, 5 to Fayetteville, 6 to Clarksville, and 7 to Little Rock. So I just caused a little bit of chaos up there. I know I lost Missouri. I was able to take out about 6,000 Union troops, and that card will be out. Then we will go to the Union, and the Union is going to play a 2 card. It's gray, so they can't play it for the event. They're going to play it because we're going to try to get an attack on the Army of the Tennessee right here. So we're going to move out, see if we can get lucky and dislodge them. The Confederacy has an interrupt card. And what it basically says is I can play this Quaker guns. So one of the things that's happened more over here in Manassas, where the Confederates kept the Union kind of worried, bottled up in that Washington area by basically creating Quaker guns, which were basically wooden logs that look like cannons. And the Union were tricked into thinking there was this heavy artillery facing them, and it wasn't. So I'm going to play that card. It's going to do the same thing here. Play as an interrupt card to cancel the activation of any general with a strategy rating of 2 or 3. The strategy rating on Burnside is a 2, so Burnside gets tricked, and he's like, you know what? We're not going to attack Nashville. They have more artillery than they actually do, but they did, and it was a trick. So that's going to end the turn. Again, quick turn. We have just concluded the fall of 1861. On the turn track, the Union is going to suffer some strategic will because they were promised that basically this war would be over fast, and the North is like, that's not looking that way. It looks like a lie. So they're going to lose 5 points. They're going to go from 108 to 103. And because they were on the positive side, they're going to lose 3 more. So they are back at 100. So they're going to sit at 100 currently. We're also going to look at a couple other things, control markers. Remember, I counted out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, because that's going to go at the end of the turn. So what that is going to do is convert every space in Kentucky. And Kentucky is now officially going to fall to the Union. So the Union is then going to get back 10 strategic points. So they're going to go back up to 110. And because of the reversal of fortune, again, they're going to get +2. So now they are at 112 versus the Confederacy's 101. Any other locations that I might have troops in enemy lands to convert stuff? I don't. So the next thing that will occur from here on out is we'll do attrition. So the Army of the Tennessee is still sitting with 7, so they're going to drop 2 to 5. The Army of the Potomac is with 8. They're going to drop 2 to 6. The Army of the Tennessee is sitting with 5. They're going to drop 1 to 4. Army of Virginia is going to drop from 5 to 4 as well. And then we'll look anywhere we have stacks of troops greater than 3. I think it did a good job of moving that stuff around, and I don't. So that will end our turn. And for the next turn and for the rest of the game, our hand size is finally maximized. Again, it starts small. It shows you it right on the board. It starts with 4. The first turn, that's kind of representing the army slowly building up. It goes to 5 in the summer, 6 into the fall of 1861, and then the spring of 1862. Both sides have got their stuff in gear and they're ready to fight. So I would say that turn, in my opinion, was probably one a little bit leaning towards the Confederacy, only because they held off any major advancements. They got their number back over 100. They did reduce the North a lot. The North was able to get some back by taking over Kentucky, but they really kept the North bottled up, and the South was able to build another army to oppose the army in Bowling Green. They've got the Army of Tennessee there with some better generals in it currently. Next turn in the game, just so you guys know, very important turn in spring, because you're going to see Robert E. Lee come to the board, Joseph Wheeler Cavalry, Forrest Cavalry, and Morgan. So a lot of cavalry coming on board for the Confederacy. The Union is only going to get Curtis and Stoneman. So next turn is a big Confederate advantage turn just from those pieces. And we will start that turn shortly.